great hunt for God, it became very clear very fast that male and man are different. We are going to be talking today about manhood and that it is different from maleness. Today I want to talk to you about the things men do as opposed to the things males say. 1 Peter 5:8, Peter writes, "Be sober and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion seeking for someone to devour." My life verse is John 10:10b. John 10:10a says, "Your enemy, or the thief, comes to steal and kill and destroy." And then Jesus says in part B, "But I have come that you may have life and have it to the full." I am very aware that there is a spiritual realm around us, and spiritual things are happening, and traps are being laid. And I'm also very aware that greater, I think it's 1 John 4:4, greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. Well, I'm not afraid of Satan. I'm not afraid of his plans. I'm a child of God. I need to be aware of things that are going on. I need to be aware of what is going on in the heart of my wife. How is my wife doing? I need to be aware of her heart. I need to be aware of my kids. How are my kids doing? How's my ministry doing? It's summertime's coming. We're donor supported. This is a scary time for us in ministry of just trusting God. Being aware of what's going on around you. We need to be in this constant state of yellow, men, of watchfulness, men. As follower of Jesus, leading my family in condition yellow, being a part of my church and being in condition yellow, these are all very important things, but they require the next thing. Paul says, stand firm in your faith. We live in a soft world where men are soft and men are easily swayed. To find men of firm faith is a pastor's greatest dream. To find men who are unwavering. Men, step up. Males, transition. We live in a jello Jesus. Put him into your mold. Let Jesus, you fit him and your faith into your mold. You just create this Jesus that fits for you. Soft and weak, and he's desperate for you. He was so desperate that he died for you on the cross. That is not the Jesus of the Bible. The Jesus I serve, the ultimate man, the Savior of the world, the Savior of men and women, that Jesus, his three inner circle guys, he named the Sons of Thunder and the Rock. Oh, it means pebble. No. Stone. Jesus, this is the guy we follow. He's not desperate. He's not needy. He's not that clingy friend in high school you always tried to avoid. He's the Son of God, the Savior of the world. And he's saying in 1 Corinthians 15:58, "Therefore, my brothers, stand firm in the faith and let nothing move you." At some point, men, at some point, males, we have to draw a line in the sand and say, I am not crossing. I'm done with compromise. I'm done with letting these things come into my life and the children's lives and my wife's life. I'm done with this stuff. I'm done sitting in church every Sunday, never giving a nickel to the work of God in the church I call my home. I'm done sitting on my behind while everybody else serves. I do nothing. And I think, guys, we need to stand firm in our faith, immovable in what we believe. Our kids are watching, our wife is watching, our church is watching, our community is watching. But what happens so often, guys, we say, I don't need these things. I'm just going to wear my old scruffy flip-flops, and we slide backwards. And if you're one of those men who have backslidden into malehood, I want to encourage you this morning. Take out the hammer, take out the nails, and start pounding. Step into the role that God has called you to move forward in. The role of man. To be called a man is the highest compliment any other man can ever call you. To have a man look you in the eye, I just said this today about Blake, and say, that guy, that's not a kid in my youth group, that's a man. How does a man quit? With a sword in his hand, fighting to the bitter end, baby. He never quits on his marriage. He never quits on his men, his kids. He never quits on his church. He never quits. He quits like a man. Men don't quit. They finish strong. It's tough to act like a man because there's so many forces pushing against us. We need to resist those forces and to step into the role that manhood requires. You see, males are born. Men, however, are made. Men are forged in the fires of resistance. Does that make sense? We don't just wake up one day and go, oh man, I'm strong. No, the literal translation here is not be strong. The literal translation for this path is be made strong. We have to become something that we may not necessarily be. Paul writes, finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Ephesians 6:10. In fact, this phrase is mentioned 30 times in the Bible. I need to say this, though, because verse 14 rocks my world. I can be watchful. I can act like a man. I can be made strong. I can do all these manly things, but without verse 14, it's nothing. Verse 14 says, let all that you do be done in love. And man, we can be a lot of things. We can act manly and do manly things, but if we fail to love, we've missed it.